This story begins in mist over water, salt in the air, where the tide folds into the shore. Beneath a gentle swell and foam, a maiden takes shape. Carried on the hush of the sea, rising softly with the tide, unknown to man, without a name, unclaimed and entirely her own. But the coast is never empty for long. Under the dunes, unseen, he's watching, waiting. And when the skin slips free to rest upon the sand, he'll steal it, hide it, and with it, everything she was. She cannot return without it. Without it, she's no longer free, forced to stay, conforming to a life never meant for her, given a name and a home she never chose. Years may pass like this, quiet, almost convincing, but the sea does not forget its own, and one day, she finds her way back. I'm your host, Melissa Nunez, and welcome to Candidly Cryptic, your source for all things strange, spooky, and unexplained. 5 years have passed since Cast the Bronze by Rains was released, and of course, it still lingers. A song that feels polished on the surface but restless underneath. If something were made but still carries the shape of what it once was.
Make me bleed if you need to confirm that it's something I can do, and I'll paint it red. If you're still unsure, let me lie.
Rains has this way of doing something almost elusive, taking heavy ideas, identity, expectation, becoming, and lifting them into melodies that feel like light. It's imaginative, cinematic, almost otherworldly, but still grounded in something real. Metaphors that feel like magic, without trying to be. And this song, this one, feels a lot like transformation. Along the coast of Scotland and Ireland, there are stories of beings called selkies, seal by sea, human by land. They step out of the ocean, remove their skin, and for a moment, they're indistinguishable from us. But only for a moment, because their skin is everything. There's one story told across the Orkney Islands called The Good Man of Wasness. A bachelor comes upon them, selkies dancing at the water's edge, their seal skins cast aside on the rocks. It isn't love. He doesn't believe in that. Still, he chooses and takes one, hiding her skin. Without it, she's trapped, bound to a body and a life that's not hers, a form she's made to fit. Like sinking her teeth into $1 million mold, this was not chosen. It's shaped, a mold in its own way. Freedom becomes foreign, forced into a life as a wife and a mother, seemingly content but longing for the sea. The longer she stays, the less it stays buried, something that never quite fits, reminiscent of, or could I stand to maybe show a little skin, tear all my clothes and patch them up with safety pins? Selkie's pass is humans, but she's not entirely of this world. And the question becomes, how long can you live as something before it starts to wear on you? Not just appear human, be human. Almost like a quiet dare. Make me bleed if you need to confirm that it's something I can do. Not a threat, not even a challenge, just an understanding. In many Selkie stories, years pass as she builds a life raising children. On the surface, content, but beneath it, the tide never settles. Adapting, becoming, but never fully belonging, until it almost feels true. Reminding me of, and crave that I gave my consent to be anything that anyone prefer I be, as if becoming this was ever a choice. When the Selkie is alone, she searches, quietly, endlessly. One day her daughter interrupts her and asks what she's doing. The Selkie answers, "Oh child, don't tell, but I'm looking for a pretty skin to make a shoe that would cure your sore feet." Then the child remembers another moment that wasn't meant to be seen. her father hiding a sealskin above his bed. And just like that, above the rafters, her world locked inside a chest. Stealing it back, she breaks for the sea, leaving everything behind. There's nothing left to explain. Almost like, if you're still unsure, let me lie for a day before they formally announce me dead. Out on the water, her husband rows home. In the distance, he sees two selkies. He pauses. No confusion, only knowing. She's no longer bound, no longer waiting. And in that moment, they understand. This is goodbye. Although she does not return, there's something gentler in it. Not loss exactly, but release. Memory, not self. What remains of her isn't the person she was, it's the story, the version people tell. Selkie tales have been passed down for centuries across North Atlantic, changing slightly each time, but always holding the same shape: love, possession, and the pull of something deeper. She becomes folklore, recognizable, beautiful, simplified, until she exists only as something that can be kept. And that's the heart of it. Not just the Selkie story, not just the song, but the space between them, because both are about becoming something for someone else and slowly forgetting what you were before. Selkie stories don't end in darkness, they end in return, in remembering, in stepping back into something that was always yours. But that in between, that space where you almost belong, but don't, living as something you were never meant to be, it doesn't translate, but it comes close to, I can't show you how, I don't know enough, and I'll just let you down. Maybe that's a chance you'll take. Maybe that's why the song still feels so alive 5 years later. Because it doesn't just tell a story, it lingers in that in-between space, between who you are and who you've learned to be. Some stories are carved in stone, others are carried by water, and some you don't realize you're inside of until you start finding your way out. Thanks for tuning in another episode of Candidly Cryptic. If you enjoy all things strange, spooky, and unexplained, please follow for more.